guys, welcome back to Bustin Experience. This is Brandon, and I have two awesome guests today. I have Stacy and Joe Bechard. Hi, guys.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good. So I brought you guys here because I wanted you guys to talk about your story, right? So you have your foster shirts on, and I have one of them right there. So how long did you guys foster for?
It's been about at least 2 years, right around 2 years.
So what kind of got you guys into fostering? What made you want to do it?
Well, our son is turned 4. You know, we're kind of just in the opportunity, or in that stage of our life to, be able to do that, and we wanted to help, and it was just something we wanted to do, and that's kind of how.
Yeah, and I would say also his sister was a foster parent too, so that also encouraged us because we realized it's not as scary as we thought. A lot of times foster parenting gets a bad rap, or a lot of people are afraid to do it, are unsure or uneasy. So it was good for us to see his sister go through fostering. So then we kind of were like, oh, okay, it's not so bad after all.
So what did that process look like when you guys got started? Just kind of talk, somebody that's brand new, just kind of talk it through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you take six or 8 week course, and they just go through, what to expect, the kind of things you need to know about the kids and their situation that they're coming out of, and just how to react, and just a bunch of this stuff you need to know.
What type of family lives do they have?
A lot of kids come out of domestic violence. The parents are addicted to drugs, or just all sorts of things like that. But
basically, they help you to help a child in trauma.
Okay.
So kids who have traumatic experiences, like what you can do for them.
So what was the class like? How did that go?
It was, it's after, for us, we went after work, and then it was about 2 to 4 hours after work you would spend to do it. A lot of paperwork, and just basically it kind of reminded me of teaching stuff about kids. It's a lot of things about kids and how to take care of children. So it kind of goes along with elementary education and that type of thing.
Go ahead.
And part of their process too is, they do a background check, and they actually do a case study for us. So they ask us about our family. So they just want to make sure that when they're placing kids that they're placing with people. They don't want to.
They're not just throwing them into a worse situation.
So they really do. For us, they did a really good job. Just
very thorough, and just really looking out for the kids' best interest, trying to make sure they're in a safe place.
So now, kind of your personal story. Like, what was it like? I guess because obviously we're friends. I assume we're friends, right?
Yes, we're friends.
And of course we got to kind of be in it a little bit with you guys, and we kind of had that outside looking in perspective. But you guys were going through it. And so when they first showed up, how was that transitioning? Because you only have one child, right? And then you had 2 fosters, so obviously that's a huge transition in a very short amount of time. Because for me, I have 3 kids, but I had some years to kind of adjust slowly into it. With you guys, it was just and that's it. So kind of walk us through that. Like how hectic was it?
Yeah.
Well, to give you a little background, I know we didn't really explain it too much, but we had 2 foster kids. For nearly 2 years, and total we've had 3 foster kids.
Okay.
The first foster child we got, we only ended up having him like 2 weeks, so it's kind of a learning experience. You think that it might only be a quick thing where, okay, we had the first kid 2 weeks, so we're like, okay, so maybe it'll be 2 months or 6 months. But it ended up being 2 years, and then whether, at one point there was a long period where we were thinking we might adopt him, and we were willing to do that, but it didn't work out that way. So you treat these kids like your own kid, so it's it was hard, but we know we made a difference in their life. So
would you say it was hard to, I guess, to always remind yourself that that's, even though it's not your kid, it's kind of your kid? Like, did you feel like you were treating them any different than you would Noah?
No, that was kind of the hard part, was we were treating them exactly like we would our own children, which makes you completely bond with them, and you get attached to them as you would any kid. And every time we've adopted or had any kids come into our home, we always say we think we're going to adopt them because we just love them so much. But the other piece to it is, like, when they come in, they bless us in our lives so much, and then we bless them, and it's a win-win in that way. A lot of people are afraid of the goodbye, so most people will not even consider fostering because they're afraid to say goodbye to the kids. But actually, I found out that being on the other side of the fence, God does give you the strength to get through it, and I guess I didn't think that I would be able to get through it, but He gives you the peace to go through the moment, and it's emotional. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, it's perfect. It's no issues at all, because we were sad. We went through our tears and crying and frustration, but in the end, we were able to get. They offer through Heartland foster parenting. What do you call it? Grief and loss counseling. So I asked for that for me and my son, because Noah went through it in a different transition than we did. We knew it was happening, so we already went through our mourning and the loss before. And then after they left, that's when my son started acting out with, just the emotions of it all.
Yeah.
And, going into foster care, it's like one of the things they train too is, the goal is reunification.
Yes.
And there's no doubt about it. Like, we wanted them to be reunified. But after so long, having them almost 2 years, I mean, we raise these kids, our standard so high. We want the parents to do a good job. We want them to take care of the kids good and treat them good. But our standards are so high for these kids, that it's very difficult. But
we really want them safe and happy.
Yeah. But the good thing is we do have communication with the parents, and we've been able to video message them and stuff. So having that co-parenting is actually very beneficial.
Yeah.
To at least stay in contact and keep an eye on them too. So
yeah, and I mean, because these kids, they become your kids after a certain amount of time, they really do, and it's almost like you just lost your own kids in a way.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I can, you do have to have a heart, and I think you guys can agree with that to do this, because it's hard, and just watching. I mean, obviously I've never fostered yet, but I mean, just watching it, I know it weighs heavy on the heart.
Yeah.
And
it's hard. It's definitely a calling, and then at the end, they asked us for relicensing for Heartland. They asked us, so what keeps you going? What keeps you keep saying yes to doing this? And we just said, we went into it for a purpose of blessing other children that we knew needed a good place to be. And for example, when you think of the birth to 3 years old, how much they're able to learn and grow in that short time, and how much love and attention and conversations help them in the long term. So just the fact that they are learning so much, and the thing that really makes me excited is we were able to take our kids to church, and they learned a lot from church too. And one day, our foster son, I shouldn't say his name, but one day our foster son said that he said, oh, well, Jesus goes with me on visits. So it just made me feel comforted knowing he knows God's with him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
And so that's an encouraging piece.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy because, like I said, we saw them as they entered your home, and how much they had changed from the time they got there to, when they left. And even though they were, how old were they? How old were your kids?
They were infant. Sophia was 5 months old, and Raul was 1 month, or 1 year old. 1 year old, yeah.
And then they left at what age?
Raul was 3, and Sophia was 2 years old. So.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys, and what is it? The most growth is between the ages of birth and 3 or something like that. It's 2 or 3. So you guys really got to plant that seed in their minds and in their hearts. So. man, that's, kudos to you guys. And watching you guys go through that, like,
it's not easy.
No, yeah, I'm sure, and so much respect for you guys.
Thank
and
you.
so I appreciate you guys a lot. And so what was the organization? I know you said it a couple times, but go ahead and mention the organization.
Yeah, we love our organization. We're working through Heartland, Heartland for Children. So if anybody's interested in doing Heartland for Children, is a really great organization. Highly recommended. Very organized, very helpful. And if you need anything, you could communicate with people through email, and they'll get with you immediately. And so it's a good experience for us to go through. We feel like we're a good team because we had to work as a team to do this. And I realized
we were outnumbered.
Right?
So
we went from having one child to having 3, and we were outnumbered. And there's a lot of things that people don't think about when they foster. So for the first time, if you're ever considering fostering, I would definitely recommend just starting small, and then working your way up.
So what would you say, and the answer might be obvious, but what would you say is the hardest thing of fostering?
What would you say?
So far it's been saying goodbye. I mean, that would be hard.
I guess for me, sharing them.
Sharing them,
yeah. I don't really like that part, but I have to.
It's like we said, they become your kids, and it's almost just like, all right, now you got to share with these parents, and it's like,
so it's hard to share.
Yes,
I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully though, the parents are more impacted too, and they get their stuff together, and it forces them to grow. Because I mean, I think to a degree you got to think on their side as well, and I mean, because they lost their kids, and that's their reality. Now, regardless of how they feel about that, if they really want them back and they work for it, like that would be great. If they change their lives and they actually became a blessing to the kids and learn, and you guys are still connected with them, so that's a great testimony right there. And I'm excited to see how that plays out. How's that been going too, by the way? Just the
well, the mom's trying. I think it's a lot on her right now. There's a lot of things she has to get organized, and she just got them into a daycare, and
very cool.
Getting things organized, getting their Sunshine Health cards and all those things squared away. So it's been a lot of work on her, and she says, I'm busy being a mom, and so I've really encouraged her, just keep being a good mom to them. That's all you have to worry about, is just being a good mom and trying to support her. So it's been going well. I mean, we hope for more. Like we always say, can you give us a picture? Can you? We always want more, but we're taking what we can get.
Yeah, agreed. And so, when do you guys think you're going to foster again?
Well, we were just talking about that. I think we were going to wait a few months just for our own son, to let him. He's having a hard time too. I mean, it's like
he's
his brother and sister. He's just turning 4, so he's trying to figure everything out. So it's just we're gonna give it a little more time. But I think our plan was maybe a year, 6 months to a year. Probably we're gonna wait.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be good for the rest of the year to just take a break. A lot of the people that we've talked with said we need to take a time for grief and loss and just for healing from the situation, so that we don't have any unresolved issues or just unhealed hearts. So but yeah, just wait till the end of the year and then think about 2021 and see what that brings.
And so what was the process for Noah, for little Noah? Like, how was that, having him integrated with the other two and then also them leaving? How did he deal with all that?
Yeah, I think that in the beginning he loved it because it was instant friends for him. And so for him, he just loved, like the first little boy we had, he was there for a couple weeks. He was best buds with him, playing around. So he loves having that. And he, when Sophia was really young, he wasn't as good about being that big brother, but as time went on, he became a good big brother, and he was really like making sure she was okay. And then when they left, I think he's very confused because he called them brother and sister, and he treated them as his own brother and sister, and we treated them as part of our family, so he was confused by that. And he also shared a room with the other little boy, so he had even more of a feeling like of absence So he has a little bit of things to work through, but we're just trying to reassure him and giving him boundaries and teaching him that he's staying with us forever, and we're trying to reinforce, like, reassuring him.
Yeah, I didn't honestly even think about that. Like, if you guys just got rid of them and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm probably next.
Well, and that's one of the
and
things
he did
that
at one point.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Am I going to visit next or something? So, you know, so
man, I didn't think about that.
Crossed his mind for a minute there. That
I think, like, when they left for
am I
Christmas.
So we just had to keep telling him, look, no, you're not, you know, you're our son. Like, you're not going to visit, or you're not, you know, you're with us. So it was like just reassuring him that, and then I think he's doing a lot better now.
Yeah, and we just had to try to tell him we're trying to help other people, and so when someone needs help, we're trying to help them. And sometimes that's easy, and sometimes it's not easy. And I think it's good for him to learn firsthand that it's okay to help others, even if it hurts you in the process. So.
Man, I mean, if there's one thing you could just tell a new person, that if you can just learn how to do this would help you a lot in fostering. What would be one piece of advice that you think is critical to being able to do it, at least efficiently?
What would you say?
Good at fostering.
Patience, love, I mean anything.
Well, yeah, you definitely have to have some patience. And, you know, as difficult as it is, you know, having to deal with sharing visits and going to court and everything. I mean, you just have to be positive, and just think of the ultimate reason, like, you know, why you're doing it. It's not really for ourselves that we're doing it. So it's like we just want these kids to not be in the same situation when they get older, break the cycle of whatever it was. If it's like drug addiction, where they're gonna remember, you know, when they're an adult, like what it's like to be in a good environment, you know, loving family. So hopefully that sticks with them, and you know, so just keep that in mind, and it'll be a lot easier for you.
Yeah, and I think Joe helped me a lot with being positive, because there were times I got really down, and having him to lift me up and say, let's focus on being positive, even in the negative situations. So that was really good to have him support me, because I might have given up had I not had Joe to support me. And also, I would say another good thing for any new foster parent is a network.
Yeah.
So making sure you have a good close family and friends and church and people that will support you. And so I joined an online Polk County Foster and Adoptive Moms page. So that helps a little bit, reading their stories and their situations and questions.
Where can you find that?
It's on Facebook.
So on Facebook.
It's a Facebook page, Polk County Foster and Adoptive Moms.
Awesome.
Page. So that's one. And then they have Foster the Flock. So if anybody wants to help foster parents in a way, like making meals for them or babysitting for them or doing anything that they could do to help. So there's Foster the Flock, and then your church. And I know having a small group and a church family and your family helping support you really is key, because without that you might just give up.
Yeah.
So
it
true. Really does help you to stay grounded and remember that they all love these kids like their own grandson, like their own grandchildren. And that really helps a lot too. And I think the other piece is don't be afraid to love. Just remember that love always wins, and so even if it hurts you in the end, it's worth the love, because love will never fail. Yeah,
and that's good. Take us through, because I know this can be a frustrating topic, take us through the legal system of everything. How was that?
It is frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. It's when you go through the legal piece. Did you want to talk about it first?
Sure. I mean, so generally they have the quarter. Usually every 2 to 3 months they do. It's called a judicial review, and then that's when they either go through the case plan. Like, are the parents doing their case plan? Are they not doing their case plan? You know, they decide where the case should go. at the judicial reviews. So like whether it's adopt, like okay, we're just gonna terminate the rights, or we're gonna change the case plan. That's usually when they do it, judicial review. And then what's the other one?
The thing that we learned along the way that we were not aware of was that they have a staffing before the judicial review.
Okay.
So through experience, we learned the importance of those staffing meetings and how important it is that the foster parents are able to say their opinion or put in a word or even be there for that. And it was hard because our case was out of town, so it was like an hour and a half drive just to get there. So, but if it's closer and you got a child nearby, it's much easier to go in and be a part of every little piece, because if a foster parent's able to be there for staffing, that's when they talk things out, kind of like we're sitting and talking around the table, and it's in a more relaxed atmosphere. In the judicial review, it's more serious and more, the judge is leading and you're not able to speak as much. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so really those are the two big things you would go to court for, or go to, but usually if we couldn't make it, we would try to do like a phone. If we did that one time, over the phone or something like that, they can have you up on there.
And you can do
say something.
Foster parent input forms and things like that. There's different ways to give your input. You can also email and things like that.
So what would be advice for the parents that maybe are about to have their children fostered? What are some ways that you think that they could kind of be preemptive and avoid that happening? So what are some advice that you could say, hey, get your life together by doing X, Y, and Z, and that'll avoid the kids leaving the house at all?
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on the situation, like if they're already taken, just do your case plan. Like, I mean, that's what it's for. Is they want you to get your kids back, but you have to do what the court wants. What they're requiring. Like, if the kids were living out on the streets, you gotta get an apartment, get a job. You just gotta work hard, get your case plan done, and ask for help from foster parents, because
yeah, that's a huge one. Asking for help.
We would definitely be willing to help, and so
I mean, the communication's key, and then I think that sometimes I notice this feeling of the feeling of resistance against a foster parent, as if we took their kids away from them, and that is definitely not the truth. The truth is that we're just really bridging the gap between this situation and you getting the kids back. So we're literally bridging the gap. We're trying to help. But I think a lot of times it's hard for parents to understand. And then if you're trying to get your kids back, honestly, the courts and everything, they're going to work with you. So as long as you, like Joe said, as long as you do what they say to do, and you make your effort, and you come to the visits, and they like you to visit your kids. They like it when you have a job, have a safe place for them to live, and that you have enough money to provide for them. So
because they tend to want to bend over backwards for unification, right?
Yes.
Because I think that costs them a lot less money in the long run, apparently.
Well, I don't know the motive exactly, but that's their main goal. Their main goal is always reunification.
Which can be good or bad. Because especially if they keep going in and out, that's not necessarily good either.
Right. So. Yeah, and that happens, but we just have to hope for the best.
It's really, our situation was kind of strange, but how it all worked out and why it took so long. It's not supposed to go, more than a year. That's they want to reunify or terminate by a year or at a year.
So really? I didn't know that.
So our,
so you guys were way over that.
It was just way over, and there was a lot of circumstance for that, but there's some new laws coming out, and they want to keep everything at a year, and really that's it just is so hard after a year. I mean, especially the kids up,
because they're growing together.
The age that we had,
they bond so much.
It's difficult on everybody: the kids, the parent, the foster parents, the parents. I mean, so really less than a year is ideal.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard of it being even longer than 2 years, but with the new laws coming out, I think they're, by a year you need to know what is going on.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Being in limbo.
If it's taking you more than a year to get your kids back, I mean, there's an issue somewhere, and they need to make a decision.
Like, all right, guys, come on, pick it up. Pick it up. But I mean, that's the system for you too. Unfortunately, like it drags their feet, and it's just not good for everybody. But I mean, that's just kind of the world we live in. Man, but I'm so proud of you guys, and I know it was hard. And is there anything else that you guys want to say that's on your heart that you would like to share with anybody?
Yeah, I guess I'm just thankful to have friends like you and Stephanie, and obviously close friends really help a lot. And then also Echo was really, really good about being a good ministry. Echo is right there to help with foster parents, and they'll help give you clothes and give you things that the kids need.
Yeah.
And so they were really, really good about things. Like if you needed something, they would definitely help. So just having the help, the support from Heartland and Echo and different things was also good.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not know that. You guys had a lot of support as far as financially. That I mean, because I believe even daycare was taken care of for them, and anything you guys needed. So. Yeah, that's a good point too, because I think that might be a turnoff for some people.
That's another thing people get worried about is the finance piece.
Yeah.
And that was the main reason why we didn't think we could even do fostering. We thought that would be too much money for us. Ends up that they do give you a stipend each month per child.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to say, am I allowed to say how much? I mean, but they give you a stipend to help with room and board and simple expenses like you're going to be paying for. But they also provide a lot of things. Sunshine Health covers all their medical issues. So if, for example, we had our little foster boy had to go in for stitches and a surgery while we had him, and so that was all covered. We didn't have to pay out of pocket for anything medical.
That's awesome.
And then the other piece is the food. So there's food stamps available for us.
There was
WIC.
Yeah,
WIC covers some. For food and things, and then so just reaching out to those organizations to get the help, it just kind of feels like you're bouncing around to try to get what you need, but that the things that you need are there. So
yeah, so it's a lot of work is what you're saying, but it's worth it.
It's not easy. It's not like, one stop. It's like you'll have to make your rounds, and definitely couldn't have done it without him. He did a lot of paperwork stuff that I didn't do. So there's a lot of paperwork side of it, and then there's...
Well, it really is unbelievable the kind of support you can get, and
if you need it, you can...
There's just such a need for foster parents right now too. So I mean, you just, if you are interested, definitely do it, because Polk County and Hardy and it's just unbelievable how many kids need to be in a good home.
Yeah. And
do you know how many kids are in foster right now?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I remember hearing the last time how many kids need placement, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I know it's a lot, and I used to know the number, but I forget. I just it's like nearing at least the thousands.
Yeah, it's in the thousands. I mean, our licensing counselor just said that fostering has reached the all-time high, and there's so many kids in care with no foster parents to take them in.
And it's always better to have them in a foster home, rather than like a group home or something, because you have young kids with older kids, and the whole situation. Learning bad things from older kids, and it's just that more one-on-one care that you can get them is always going to be better than a big group home or whatever. So, and
I think a part of that too, I think the reason the number just tends to grow is because, especially in today's society, we live in a world of personal responsibilities at an all-time low. Like, I can do whatever you want, you can't judge me, and then they go out and have as many kids as they want because there's no moral grounding or whatever in their own minds. And then it takes people like you to step up and to do that. And it seems like that margin of people is becoming less and less, while the margin of people that I can do whatever the heck I want and everybody has to deal with it tends to grow. And it's kind of just, it's sad to see, you know, because I mean, you really do, based on your decisions, good or bad, it affects every single person around you. And so, and I'm just glad to have people like you that stand up and, you know, try to do what's right and to help as many people as you can. Because it's definitely getting darker, it seems like, in the world. So, but
thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, we're at 30 minutes, and I mean, we can talk about whatever if you guys wanted to say more, but we can also wrap it up. So, what do you guys want to do?
I think that's all I can think of.
I think the only things I was thinking for sure is, number one, most people are deterred by money.
Yeah, agreed.
And so just there's a lot of available resources for that, and then the other major reason people don't want to do it is because they're so afraid to say goodbye.
Yeah.
But they even have counseling and things available for that piece. So there's a lot of avenues. And I guess for us, it was like, never get weary in doing good. You know, just keep doing good. And then also I feel like it's the church's responsibility to stand up for the orphans and the widows that need help. And so that's just one way to help.
Yeah, and I mean, you hear that, guys? It's not for the faint of heart. So if you want to prove yourself that you're strong, foster a kid, right?
You'll come out stronger,
right?
wiser.
Outnumbered. I'm pretty sure I got some gray hairs.
Yeah, I got gray hair.
I can see it, man. But
it was worth it. It was worth it.
I don't know if you guys answered. Did you guys say when you hope to foster another one? Did you guys give an answer?
We're planning 2021. That's our
2021, right? New Year's kid come in.
Yeah, New Year's.
Yay! And they kind of they ask you when you're ready, right? It's not just
So at first we kind of felt like the pressure to say yes to another one right away, and they said no. We recommend that you heal first, take some time to your family, and then come back. And so they recommended us taking a break. So I was like excited about that because I thought maybe we'd feel this pressure to take another one right away. So I guess they said when we're ready. So
did you guys know, because you guys went through Heartland, did you know Darlene Rogers? Did you know her?
That name rings a bell.
She's I wouldn't say she's if you're watching this, I'm not trying to offend. I wouldn't say she's an old lady, but she's older. I think in her mid to late 40s, maybe early 50s. Shorter, black hair or whatever. Well, anyways, I actually grew up with her, but like I was in the same church when I was a little kid or whatever.
Aww.
So like I knew her. So when I went to the class, because I went to the fostering class, I saw her. I was like, hey, she's like, hey, and so
cool.
we actually reconnected that way. And so if you hear this, shout out. I'll probably tag you in Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But yeah, no, a lot of good people there.
Aww.
So I just didn't know if you guys knew her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we really like Heartland. So
I guess that's another benefit of fostering is you meet so many great people. Like I'm not gonna lie, like
you do.
have met amazing people, and some of them would be your guardian ad litem that you love. Every single month the guardian ad litem comes to your house and meets with the kids, and so she's become part of our family.
Yeah.
And shout out to Linda Borick. We love her. But yeah, there's lots of people that you can bond with and meet, and so it's not just you and you alone. It's a tribe of people. Yeah. So.
Did you guys take the ACE test?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Can I ask what you guys got? Do you remember?
I think mine was it was like high. Isn't that it good?
The higher, the higher you are, the worse it is.
So mine was really low. I think mine was at the low end, like 0 to 1.
Yeah, mine was probably down there too.
So for those of you that don't know, you have to take a test when you go to fostering class. It determines on how jacked up of a childhood that you got, and
or how traumatic.
Yeah, well, how traumatic, I guess, is what they say. So it's like 0 to 10, and it's like 10 is like you went through so much, and then 0 is like you went through nothing. Yeah. So what'd you say you got?
I probably had a 0 to a 1.
0 to a 1. What'd you get? Same.
Probably the same. Yeah.
I got a 10. So for all of you.
So he is a miracle right here.
Right. Honestly, I was looking at because they said based on your scores, they said you had a more statistical chance of doing drugs, having sex with 50 plus people, and they just list went on, and I'm like, I avoided all that. I avoided all of that, and I was like,
that's
my
a
goodness,
miracle.
I was just like, I don't know why, but it was just God looking out for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to dig into your own stuff, you know, and find out what kind of person you are and like how much you've avoided and like the statistics and everything, take the ACE test, guys, like that. That was kind of an eye opener. And even for Steph, it was funny because she got like a 1. And she looked at mine and she goes, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." I was like, "I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good."
It's amazing, really.
And and then after that, I went to the because the teacher, like, you know, you hand them in, and she saw that I had a 10, and she goes, "Us 10s have a good sense of humor, don't we?" And I'm like, "We do." I was like, "So yeah. So if you guys want to know why I'm so crazy a lot, that's why."
That's awesome.
So, but. Oh man, good stuff. Anything else, guys, before we kind of wrap it up?
I think that's it.
Maybe give a shout out to Heartland. Maybe just say how people can find them or get a hold of them. So how can they find them?
Yeah, Heartland, www.heartland.
I think I have it here.
Yeah,
Heartland.
So
trying to make sure heartlandforchildren.org. So here you go. If you would like to look it up. So you can literally go on there, and they have, right now, if you want to foster teens, they have their pictures right up there on the website. So if you're interested, www.heartlandforchildren.org.
Very cool. And I'll probably try to find a way to tag them in this video. Maybe we'll see. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, so make sure you guys hit that like, that you subscribe, check out Heartland because they are a really amazing organization. And they definitely need a lot of help. So there's no shortage of opportunity there. And see what you can do for them, guys. And I thank you guys so much for being friends, for what you guys did for those kids. Thank you for coming on and sharing your stories. And I love you guys. All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
So see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.